make this kind of video, but this comes up a lot in my life. So here's why I'm never having kids. Okay, first off, kids are expensive. I mean, kids are expensive and I'd rather spend that money on things that make me happy, like my animation projects and such. I'm kind of a nut job. Honestly, I'm a little bit crazy and I don't want to pass any of those traits on to another generation. Kids themselves. Have you met kids? There are a lot. It feels unfair. Like, it feels unfair to bring a kid into this world right now. Like, with the economy and climate change, like, the future is looking a little bleak. Kids take up time. Any parent will tell you kids are really, really time consuming. And I'd rather spend that time doing something that makes me happy. Gaming. Look, I have one gaming console and I'm gonna be the one that plays it. My wife. Like, I love my wife a lot and I love spending time with her, and I wouldn't want anything to interrupt that time, and I feel like having kids would interrupt my time with her. The screaming. You know that high-pitched screaming that kids do when they run around the pool? Ugh, just throw me in front of a bus. And most importantly, I have no desire to be a parent. Just that feeling is not there, and it's never been there. And honestly, it never will be there. Also, I recently got a vasectomy, so there's that. And by the way, I'm not trying to upset parents here. None of this is to say that you shouldn't have kids or anything like that. You do you, boo-boo. That's on you. I know that makes a
big trouble. Japan's fertility rate hit an all-time low last year, the lowest level ever recorded in Japan since 1899. Marriage rates are also falling in the country, and there is legitimate scientific concern that there will be imminent population collapse and Japan may just cease to exist. In response, the Japanese government is rolling out a government-funded dating app specifically with the intention of promoting marriage and combating the declining birth rate. But the sad part is, this is not a uniquely Japanese problem, and contrary to everything that you've heard, largely because of propaganda from the abortion industry, we are not facing overpopulation across the globe. The United States of America fertility rate hit a record low in 2023. Less babies were born last year in our country than in any year since 1979. There is a massive decline in birth rates in countries across Europe. Recent data from Australia shows record low numbers of children. New Zealand's fertility rate recently hit an all-time low. There are dramatic fertility rates dropping across Africa. So when we're talking about imminent population collapse, we're not just concerned about Japan. We're concerned, honestly, about the entire world. So
the foreigner perspective, how do you think Japan has to fix their not having babies in one simple solution? Not immigration, because they're never going to do it.
Fuck, you knew what I was about to say.
Literally
because it was the obvious answer.
The UN was literally like, hey, Japan, there's this really easy cheat that will solve your declining population, right? And they're like, what is it? They're like, I'll just let immigrants in. I'm like, no, what is it?
They're just like, did you know there's a lot of people outside Japan that really want to Japanese people? Just saying. Like,
people are not trying to have kids, man. That is the video for today, you guys. People are not trying to have kids out here. Stay tuned. Keep watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and in the end, I'll get back to you guys on how I feel about all this, all right? Enjoy.
See the benefit of having children, and I know that makes me sound very selfish.
No, it doesn't.
But I personally feel like it's a very selfless act to have kids, and I think a lot of people have kids for selfish reasons, actually. I think they have them because they don't want to be alone. I think they have them because they want something to always love them. I think they want to see themselves in another person. They want something for themselves, whereas I think if you are going to be a good parent, you have to be selfless and know that you are literally giving up your life to now take care of another human and
you don't
raise
think you want
them.
that?
The older I get, I kept thinking maybe I'll change my mind, and maybe I will change my mind.
When you meet the right person.
Maybe,
yeah.
But even then, I just feel like I can't imagine being woken up in the morning to screaming toddlers, to grumpy teenagers, and this is gonna make me sound really bad, to going to soccer games and traveling for tournaments.
Everything's
and
for somebody else.
School meetings, and it makes me sound really, really selfish, but I would rather just spend my life worrying about me and my significant other. And yes, I do see that there are certain perks, right? If I don't have kids, maybe I'll never know that love or have that bond or that relationship. And, my mom and I now are super close. It's like we wouldn't have that. And, who will I have when I'm older? But I just really don't see it that way. And I don't know if it's worth putting myself through that. And a lot of the time, too, I feel like people that have kids, it almost sounds like they're trying to convince you that they like it.
You have to do it.
Like that they're happy.
Only one major downside of not having kids. And no, it has nothing to do with a nursing home or being a lonely cat woman, is that people don't take you seriously. Everyone expects people who don't have kids to be accommodating to their choice to have kids. What happens is we get the brunt of the work when we don't want it, and we don't get twice the pay. And we're just supposed to be understanding, like, well, she went on maternity leave. That was her choice. To have a baby, you better replace her with someone temporarily to take over that position. I'm not saying you have to fire her, but we need someone to fill in. It ain't gonna be me. You want me to take her role with not her pay? That's crazy. People think because you don't have kids, well, you have all this free time and you can do it. Yeah, but the free time is for me. There was a reason why I didn't have children. It was to make sure my free time was for me, not to do your job and my job. I still got a dog at home. He has to use the bathroom. He has to walk. So no, I can't stay 2 extra hours later just so you can go pick up your kid. Go get a babysitter. Go get a date, whatever. Your choice to have a child is not my responsibility.
Is for someone who knows that they don't want kids, or maybe that thought has crossed your mind where you don't want children. I know that I 100% do not want kids. When I, date, or whenever I go on dates, it's one of the first questions I ask, because I do like to intentionally date. And if they're 100% on kids, there's really no, reason to continue getting to know each other, because that's not something that we are compatible on. You can't compromise on that. You can't have half a kid. And I would never want to bring a child into the world that wouldn't feel 100% wanted. But my therapist brought up, I had said, I feel like I'm too selfish to have a child. I want to do what I want when I want. I like going to the gym for 3 hours a day. I like going on random trips. I get to do that. I get to have that freedom because I don't have children. My therapist said it's not uncommon for people who didn't get their needs met as a child by their parents, and they would always have to meet their needs themselves. It's not uncommon for when they get older to not want to put someone else's needs before theirs. So, when you have a child, they always come first. A lot of your needs go to the wayside. She said that, and I was like, oh, shit. I never thought of it like that, and I mean, it's true. I like doing whatever I want, and the thought of bringing another human into the world, and I'm a firm believer, if you bring a child into the world, that's your life. You take care of them with everything you have, and I don't want to do that. I want to take care of me with everything I have. I love my life. I love the freedom I have, and I don't know, just her saying that kind of stuck out to me. I definitely am, I guess if the word is selfish, I put my needs first. When I'm with a partner, I put both of our needs, they go hand in hand. But a child is completely different, and I don't know. That's kind of thought-provoking for me. So I don't know if anyone else has heard this, but I had never heard of that before.
I always hear, why you ain't got no kids? Oh man, you should get you some kids. Oh man, people who don't got kids is this, people who don't got kids is that. It's like, maybe people don't want kids out here. It's like, what you mean by that? It's like, people don't understand the world that we live in. People, you gotta have kids, and you bringing kids into this world, you gotta explain to them about why the government is like this, why things are so expensive. They gonna grow up and realize that they getting fucked, they getting screwed by the government. Then they gonna realize that, family ain't shit. Then they gonna realize people ain't shit. Then they gonna have to run into all these lies out here. You gotta explain that as a parent. You gotta raise these children and explain to them why you bring them into this fucked up world. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe people who are more empathetic don't want to have kids because they understand that this world ain't worth bringing nobody into. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, people don't understand the balance of things. Yeah, there's going to be people with kids, and understand there's going to be people without kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not to say that somebody that don't got kids is something wrong with them, and it's not to say that people who do got kids is something wrong with them, but it's to say that it's a balance in between. You know what I'm saying? And people that don't have kids, we have our own perception on why we don't want kids. You know what I'm saying? Because this world is fucked up. It's screwed up. People don't even love each other. People can't even care for each other. Why would you bring somebody into this world that can't even receive nothing,
So, yeah,
none of
man,
that?
there you have it, guys. What do you guys think about all this, man? People are really out here not trying to have kids, some of these things made a lot of sense to me. Growing up was a little tough. It was not easy. My dad didn't have all the money in the world, and he was homeboy was out here taking care of 2 families, so he wouldn't provide much for me and my brother. You feel me? And yeah, that sometimes that makes me think, what if I'm not gonna have time for my kids? Or what if I give up on my kids, you know, and stuff like that. And kids are pretty pricey, you know. You got insurance. As a matter of fact, I was in a job orientation today, guys, and this dude was like doing the orientation with me, and he had to set up his insurance for the job. And you know, that shit was crazy because he had to pay like $6,000 deductible when I had to pay like $500 deductible for the insurance to get full coverage because he had 5-6 kids. I was like, what? 6,000? That's how much he had to spend before the insurance kicks in. Me, about $500 in, my insurance will kick in because I'm all by myself. I'm a single man. You know, the food and everything. And, you know, this dude was applying for the same job I was applying. And I was like, dude, I barely can survive with, you know, with the money that I'm going to be making with this job. How is he going to provide for 6 families, you know? And the guy said he also, like, you know, the wife wasn't working at home. That's another thing you got to think about. You know, what if your wife's not working or your partner's not working or you have a lazy partner or whatever the case might be? You know, these kids are expensive and you're bringing a big responsibility in this life, you know? Is it something that you really want to take care? Because I remember having a dog and it got so hard that I got rid of it. We'll talk. Little shit was shitting everywhere, peeing, barking. You had to walk it, the responsibilities, feeding it, taking it to the vet, the price, everything. So, yeah, man, you guys got to think about it that way too. It's a responsibility. But in the end of the day, kids are what keeps the human race going. You know, me, myself, personally, I think having kids is a beautiful thing. I think having kids is beautiful, you know, and you got all these immigrants coming into the country and they don't even think about dating or anything like that or going out or being nice to each other or are you pro this, are you pro that? Nah, they're just having kids, and that's what we should be doing. We should be having kids, guys. It's such a weird reality growing up in the US. You know, I graduated like in 2012, and it's so weird like that people that are all around my age group, like millennials or like, you know, like mid-30s, mid-40s are not having kids right now. They don't have kids or they don't want to have any kids, and they're giving up on families and everything. Like, bro, before you guys do this shit, really think about it. You know, before you give up on having a wife, somebody that's gonna be long-term for the rest of your life. I know it's looked at as beta right now, but in the future, you need somebody, you know? Me, at the end of the day, the way I think about it is if I could find somebody that's going to work with me, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm gonna push with them, you know? But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So, yeah, man, that's the way I think about it, man. So anyways, leave a comment in the bottom, subscribe to the channel, like, peace. And, yo, enjoy your day. Enjoy your life, man. Enjoy your blunt, right?